Now to a story you'll see only on 6. And believe us, no other local TV station would tackle this story. A controversial trends forecaster tells ABC 6 we are on the verge of a massive economic collapse.
I said the same thing when we spoke to him last year, and although some people believe we have avoided that collapse and are on the road to recovery, Gerald Celente definitely does not.
It did collapse. It collapsed in March of 2009. The world equity markets collapsed. What they did was they propped them up, and they propped them up with stimulus packages worldwide. The United States has lent, spent, and guaranteed $11 trillion to prop up this economy. So the collapse happened, but it hasn't crashed, and we're looking for the crash to come.
Gerald Celente says bailouts based on a too-big-to-fail mentality from the U.S. government are ridiculous. And now, because of all these government mergers, our country has crossed over to an economic and political dark side.
I want to make this clear. Capitalism is dead in America. And it's not socialism that all these people are yelling about. The merger of state and corporate powers, by definition, according to someone who knew the definition really well, is called fascism. And that's what Mussolini called it. Fascism has come to America.
In Celente's view, America was a true egalitarian nation when the country was about Main Street, mom and pops, and family farms, instead of big boxes, Wall Street, and factory farms. And now that we've gotten away from the good old days, it's not if the U.S. economy collapses, but when. He thinks it'll happen before 2012.
How long does the economy in America have?
The economy in America is also going to be affected by what's going on in the global economy. And we're very concerned about what's going on in Europe, particularly with Greece.
So you see Europe falling and then it trickled down to America? Is that how it...
Not only Europe is falling, we're looking at the Ukraine, we're looking at Latvia, Lithuania, obviously Ireland, Spain, Portugal. Portugal's next. Italy's on. France, UK. The UK has a budget deficit to GDP is that of Greece.
So you're saying the stimulus that they propped up those countries, the economies there, can't sustain itself for much longer, and then eventually the weight of what? The debt, I would assume, is too much for those countries and the economies collapse?
Yes, they default on their debt. They're defaulting on sovereign debt. And we're concerned the same thing's going to happen in the United States at some point. You cannot keep taking on debt.
So is this definite? Are we doomed on a one-way ticket to economic Armageddon by 2012? No. Celente says it can turn around, but only through a dynamic change between now and 2012, like this country has never seen, through a groundbreaking, game-changing productive capacity from alternative energy.
And not wind, solar, geothermal, or biofuel, but something much greater than that, like a zero-point energy, charge clusters, even cold fusion, permanent magnets.
And on a more immediate level, taking pride in the U.S. and making an all-out effort to buy American.
America needs to make its own. You have a company in America, jeans, shoes, shirts, computers, cameras, and you stamp a real label on there, made in America. You think people will buy it? Of course they will. We don't have to buy from China.
So there is a glimmer of hope, but Celente is also predicting a bank holiday to stop a run on the banks, a 9/11-style attack on the U.S., and a U.S.-led global war sparked by an incident with Pakistan or Iran. So is this guy on the mark, or is he nuts? What do you think? In just a moment, Rhode Island's own leading economist weighs in on Mr. Celente's dire forecast. Stay with us for that part of the story as we continue with Clash of the Economists on ABC 6 News at 11. We are back in exactly 1 minute.